Good morning and welcome to PopCon, Lee County Library's PopCon. We have a wonderful day set for you, and so please join us, and we're going to start our interviews very soon. So today we're starting at 10 o'clock. We're going to have Michael Brandt. He's joining us from Branson, Missouri, and he's going to be talking about 3D printing and how to use computer-aided design. At 11, we're going to have podcasting with Chip Sutter, and he does 2 Minute Time Lord, and he's worked with Radio Free Scaro. He's a big Doctor Who fan, so we'll be talking to him at 11. At 12, we're going to have Kelly Yates, who is a graphic designer. He designs some really great comic books and toys. It should be really fun to talk to him. Can't wait. It's going to be at noon. At 1, we're going to have some shows for the kids. We're going to have some story times and some crafts. And we'll also have our costume contest entries. And we'll pick our winners. We'll also have a short video on Comic-Con do's and don'ts. At 2 p.m., we have our featured guest, Mark Ryan, who's joining us from Europe. And he is an actor. He was in Transformers, Robin of Sherwood, and Black Sails. He's been a pirate and a robot and Robin Hood's Merry Men. So he should be a real fun guy to talk to. At 3 o'clock, we'll be closing our day with Golden Cake Comics. Dan Johnson, NC native, is going to come with his group and talk to us about writing comic books. Very, very soon, we'll have Michael Brandt on. So stay tuned. If anybody's wondering about my costume, I am Faith. Can you see that? The first plus size body positive superhero. Have we got Michael Brandt yet? I hope you'll stay with us all day. We should have some really great things to do, to watch and learn about for the kids. We're just waiting for Michael Brandt. He's in Branson, Missouri. We'll be with him shortly. He does costuming for Dolly Parton Stampede, but he's also a model maker in his spare time, and he's really good at it. He has a Facebook page called Mini Haunted Mansion, and so he's built the Haunted Mansion in both Disneyland and Disney World, and he's used all kinds of model making techniques, including are we there? We're there. Hello, Michael Brandt. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, there we go.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, my connection's a little funky here in my office, so I think it's working.
We've got sound, but not video.
Not video. Okay. Let me
There you are. I got you.
Oh, perfect.
You're being very good with the social distancing.
Right, exactly. Got to wear the mask here at work, so
Is that one of the Haunted Mansion ones that you made?
it is. Yeah, I felt it was appropriate.
That's great. So you grew up in Iowa and Las Vegas.
Yes.
How did you get into costuming? You are the head of wardrobe at the Dolly Parton Stampede. How'd you get
Yeah.
into costuming?
A lot of it, I just kind of fell into it, which was great. I started off making some costumes as just for the fun of it, and got more involved, and then that turned into our portfolio, and it yeah, kind of picked up from there. Um, I was able to put a lot of my hobby work into a full portfolio, and then I turned that into a few different theaters, and they really liked what they saw, and yeah, made a career out of it.
That's amazing because I know you really enjoy doing that.
Definitely.
So how did you get to the Dolly Parton Stampede?
That was a little bit of a fluke, actually. They needed help. I actually got hired on in reservations because I'd done some hotel work, in Vegas, and so that they ended up needing somebody in lights and sound. And so I was able to join up there. I was in the lights and sound and ran parts of the show for a few years. And then they needed a spot in costume work and found out that I'd been doing costuming forever. And so the rest is history.
So how did you get into model making?
um, I have been doing props and stuff since I was, 3. Like I made my first proton pack from Ghostbusters out of a cereal box. Like, just really into building my own pieces for storytelling and that kind of thing. Um, and yeah, I just slowly progressed. Ghostbusters, Star Wars is obviously a big thing for me. Pretty much anything Disney at this point. But yeah, I just slowly taught myself and learned how to make new techniques to make more realistic pieces. And yeah, so and then recently, within the last few years, 3D printing has really taken off, and it's a lot more accessible, which is really cool. They've got some incredible stuff you can do with that now, and even for hobbyists, like you can learn to do everything online, and so it's incredible what the stuff you can make now, and the detail you can get out of a printed piece because you can even the stuff that you can't see with your eye without a magnifying glass you can print that stuff now. It makes it
I
20
saw
miniatures. Yeah.
some of the tiny little bitty pieces, I mean, that aren't even a quarter-inch big. You printed those.
Oh yeah, exactly. In that the printer I've got a Anycubic Photon. I actually have two of them now. It prints out stuff that I'm still blown away with. I love pushing the limits on it, and I printed
So
a little tiny torch for one of my mansions, and it's barely fits on my finger, but it printed out like perfect. It's amazing.
tell us about your 3D printers. You actually built one from a kit.
Yeah, I built a oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. Oh, a TiVo Tarantula is the brand of it, and I've upgraded a few parts. You can do anything with it. There is a whole community out there on building these things. Like you can customize it to whatever your needs are, which is amazing. So I built my first one. Used it to build my first haunted mansion. I built the Disneyland mansion, and it's huge, which is really cool. And
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that I couldn't scratch build, I could model in the computer and hit print. So it really speeds up the process when you can print and scratch build along with your project because you can essentially have two pairs of hands going at once. Um,
What do you mean scratch built?
so scratch building is just well, starting from scratch. Like for example, for the mansion, I used sheets of plywood, just like quarter-inch sheets of plywood, and then I added my details to it. Like for the siding, um, there's the layers of the siding that go down the mansion. I cut styrene strips out and then glued them one by one to go down. And so a lot of the details like the wrought iron and stuff, I couldn't do, or I could have done, but would have taken years. But so I was able to 3D those pieces instead. I actually have a little bit of an example of that mansion I can show you guys. So I don't know if you can see this, but
That's so good.
thank you. That's the top of the Disneyland Haunted Mansion I built. So for example, most of this is wood. So like I'm gonna take this piece off so I don't break it. um, so
Did you 3D print that, or did you make that out of plywood?
well, this part, okay, so the majority of the structure itself is actually plywood. And so the wrought iron details here, those are all 3D printed.
That's crazy.
So I was able to make that file in the computer matching, blueprints and whatnot, and then just hit print and then, glued it all together. The rest is, like the windows. I'm going to see if I can, there, that's a little better. So the windows here I actually cut out with a Cricut, like one of those, the vinyl decal cutters.
Right. Is
I
that clear vinyl?
This is actually what do they call it? Like garage sale signs, like the plastic garage sale signs.
Okay.
So I use that for a lot of my styrene pieces because it's cheap and it's at Walmart versus a hobby shop. And then I've got clear styrene on the inside of it for the window itself. In fact, I don't know if you can see the red and black on the inside there, but you can still see kind of on the back side of that window, it's still where it would say, for sale and that kind of thing. So it's, yeah, one of the little hidden details. There's normally a setup with curtains there, so most of that's hidden.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then this little guy, this is the roof of that particular piece. So there's a weather vane on top of the mansion, and I was not able to find anything remotely close to what I wanted. And so this is actually brass. It's brass and copper. And I sat there for hours with a little soldering gun, and I, did all that little detail. Like it was so rewarding, but really tedious and painful when the butane torch got hot.
Wow, that's crazy. That's so cool.
Oh, thank you.
It's a great hobby, but it's very time consuming. When I was watching you put on the siding, I was, wow, you did the time delay, and that was fascinating.
Oh yeah, I love doing that. Like, and I get so into it, and then I forget to try to document it. Like I'm just like, oh, this is great. I'm getting a lot of stuff done, and then I forget to just hit record. And so I've got some videos, and I've got another project that I'm on scratch building. It's the Phantom Manor from Disneyland Paris.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks a lot like Bates Motel, from Psycho, and like from all of that fun stuff. But I'm going to actually start a tutorial on how I do all that stuff. So I'm going to start with the framing and then how to model and 3D print all the pieces. I've had a lot of requests for that, so I'm just going to try to lay it out as best as I can of how my my process of how I put that stuff together, and maybe somebody else will teach me something that will help me along the way.
You said there's a community, so you all kind of share ideas?
Yeah, on my my Instagram page. I've got, oh my gosh, I can't remember. I think we're up to 1,600-ish people, and they're all always posting things, and I'm learning from them, and I'm trying to teach them what I can. And we're looked at setting up a Patreon page so I can actually share my files. And then that way, if people want to print at home, then they can do that. And it's so hard with the way the digital files work is once they're out there on the internet, then they're just out there. They can be shared, right. And so it's hard to have control over that, and I don't want to cause any copyright issues, and
right,
yeah, could be bad for a lot of different things.
So how do you make the how do you make the designs from the blueprints?
So that's kind of fun. I've been scaling stuff since forever. Like I remember in high school, I had a little graph sheet of paper, a notebook of it, and I'd be constantly drawing stuff out and trying to scale it down or blow it up or whatever. But there is a program called Fusion 360. It is made by Autodesk, which is an amazing software company. They've done so much that I'm just in love with. And so they have a an option. So I do a lot of research. That is, you know, the key to doing pretty much everything I do is just compiling everything. I've got folders upon folders in my
Yep.
computer that have pictures and um, but yeah, so I found a set of blueprints or what I could find of what was left of blueprints, and then put it into my software, and then just start tracing. And you can once you start with a basic shape, you can expand it out to however big, and just kind of pull and add your details and make it good to go. Um,
That's fascinating. You can create from just photographs a 3D image. You can print
right.
out from photograph.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's so impressive. Like you know, and it amazes me. You know how much it's come along the last 2 years. Like I keep seeing the progressions that the software is doing, and then you know the community online of builders. There's you know a ton of different things, and like I'm a huge train fanatic, and so like seeing the you can build little steam engines like in the computer and then actually watch it run to make sure your parts are going to go, and then you hit print and then you assemble it. Like it's just amazing.
You even put lights and things inside to make it illuminate like a real house.
I did, and you know, I managed to get the mini haunted mansion from Disney World here to my office at work, which was a bit of a chore. And it's sitting right here. I'm going to turn my my laptop so you guys can
Okay.
see it. Um, let's see. Sorry, I'm in a really confined area at the moment.
I, yeah, that's okay. I'm actually sitting in front of a green screen.
Oh yeah. Well, it's working perfect.
Yeah,
So, oh, let me.
this thing is gorgeous.
Thank you so much. That is my
You you 3D printed this on a photon. Tell me about the photon
So the Photon is a resin 3D printer, and it
resin
works.
printer.
Yeah, so it works in the opposite direction of a filament. With a filament printer, it starts from the ground up and prints layer by layer by layer. Whereas the resin printer, there is a vat that holds a pool of liquid resin, and then there's a transparent bottom, and then there is a LCD screen underneath that. And so the LCD screen lets UV light out, and it cures the resin in you know layers essentially. And so that the plate for it will dip into the resin. It'll cure a layer, pull it back out, re-dip it, and then do it that way. And so it's able to do it in such fine detail that it pops out stuff in no time.
It
Um,
doesn't get light.
yeah, exactly. Uh,
That's crazy.
and it's amazing because like with the filament printers, you have to wait for the each piece to go. So like, you know, if your plate is so big, okay, my hands are still on the screen, but if your plate is so big, then it's going to go through and do each individual piece, you know, one by one. Whereas the resin printer will print that entire surface at once. And so like one figure on a filament printer, it'll print each one. So you've got to wait for each piece to be printed, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Whereas the resin printer can print, you know, 20 of the same copy as long as it fits on that plate all at the same time. So you save so much time with the resin printer.
and it prints out in this lovely green, and then you paint it.
Yeah.
It
Uh,
tell me about painting bricks. I could not do that.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know how much you can. Let me scoot this little guy forward.
It is all brick and all painted.
It is all painted, every single brick by hand. That took a long time. um, that is the one thing that it was helpful with this whole the virus break that we had in our show schedule is I had 3.5 months of downtime.
Wow.
So this was my 3.5 months really. But yeah, every single brick I modeled in the computer, and so all the grout lines are actually there. And then yeah, I did a basic brown paint, and then after that, every single brick just got hit.
Every
So,
single individual brick you
yep.
painted or weathered or and there's lights inside. That is so cool.
It's just so much fun, and like when you're doing modeling, lighting is really everything. Like especially for something like this, if you're going for photorealism, which is that's always my goal, is I want it to look just like it does, you know, at the park. um,
Right.
but lighting is such a key element in that. I can show you the back side of it. like kind of
Yeah,
a back, behind the
it's
scenes.
got a base as well.
Yeah, the base is I mean, there we go. So the base, it's not finished yet. This is still very much a work in progress. Oh, hey, I found I have a little, these little grass urns actually go across all of these things, and that's something
Did you
that,
print those?
yeah, these are all printed. Um,
That's so
it's
tiny.
it's so tiny. I just love it.
And they're so
um,
detailed. That resin printer is really amazing.
oh yeah, like I know I would love to take credit for being able to build all this stuff, but really it's that printer, that can do the details for me. Um, but yeah, most of the stuff isn't glued down. Um, But yeah, so the base, the mansion in Florida has got this little retaining wall. Am I still on? Yeah, I'm still on camera. And so there's a grass hill that comes down the side. And so once everything's done, and I don't need access to those wires anymore, then the grass hill is going to come down.
Okay.
But so backstage,
Wow.
it's very much as if building a theatrical set. It's all blacked out with the exception of a few spots still. That way the light doesn't penetrate through the resin. Most of this resin, like you said, is printed. Oh, there we go. Most of this resin is printed in clear green. There's a few gray pieces. The clear green, the detail comes out so much better. And
Right.
I believe it's because the light penetrates it better.
Uh-huh.
The gray resin does really good for details as well, but yeah, I try to stick with the green if I can. And then this little guy, actually, oh, you can still see through it, kind of. I don't know if that's lighting up green or not on there, but
It
it's
actually gives it kind of an aged look. Even with the brown over the green, it's almost like a copper aged look.
right, exactly. See if that shows up green too. Yeah, but yeah, that's the little dome. Um, and then that's all painted. That's got like 4 or 5 different layers of colors of paint, and so it was fun. I think this was one of my first pieces for it. Yeah, just to see what this printer really could do, and then it took off from there. But I've got all of these LEDs are programmed into a board. It's called a Light Genie, um, and it's programmable. Like you can see this LED here is actually flickering, and it's running the
Like
two
the fire.
torches. Yeah, and so it's running the two torches out front. Because this little fiber optic cable that will run into it. But then everything else, you can set it to flicker. You can do some amazing stuff with it. I created all these little light boxes so the LEDs will sit inside, so they give the illusion of being, inset inside the windows. This
Did you do
spot,
that as part of the 3D print?
yeah, all the I modeled the LED in the computer, and then made my box. And you press the LED into it and tell it to cut it out, so it cuts the exact shape for your LED, so everything fits perfect.
Oh, that's built into into the program.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing stuff.
We
uh,
might have to get a copy of the name of that and post it later for anybody who's interested.
oh, definitely. And Fusion Free 360 is free for hobbyists.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, and you have full access to the program. Like it's amazing. I started off using the hobby version of it, and oh, are you still there?
Yes.
Oh, okay, it was just cutting in and out the video.
Okay. Was I spinning?
Oh no, it just went black is all. But oh, there we go. All right. Where was I? Oh yeah, but yeah, it's free for hobbyists. And anybody who wants to try it, I definitely recommend it. It's extremely user friendly. Um, yeah, as long as you can, if you're familiar with like an Illustrator or Photoshop, a lot of the same techniques are used in Fusion 360 to draw your shapes, and then you extrude and build pieces from there.
So why the Haunted Mansion?
It's such a beloved Disney attraction. Like, and my first time to write it, like I was blown away by it. Um, Here, I can turn this back around now, but I just really loved it. Like, and the history behind it. It was something that Walt had planned from the very beginning. For Disneyland, even before the park was started, he wanted to have a haunted house, and it just didn't work out, and he ended up passing away before it opened. they had the mansion built, but they didn't know what to do with it. Like they wanted to make a walkthrough attraction with it at one point. Um, but yeah, it finally opened in I believe '69, and Walt passed away in '65 or '66. So there was always like, you know, after Walt passed away, the mansion just sat there empty, and so all these stories started coming. It's like, oh, it's actually haunted, and they weren't able to open it, and the nostalgia of it is just amazing. And there's so many parts of the attraction that are still original, and so it's almost like a time capsule of how the park was back then. So it's my favorite.
Why did you pick the different scales?
Mostly because after I built, so the detail you can print in a filament printer, um, it's great, but it's not as detailed as like say the resin printer. So I played with several different scales as far as what I wanted to do with the Disneyland mansion when I was building it, and
That's the
settled.
white one, right?
Yeah, that's the white one with the pillars and
Okay.
yeah,
It's big.
it's huge. Yeah. I I just moved recently, and we had to tear the roof off of it and turn it sideways to get it through a door. Like, didn't think about that when you're building it. It's just like this huge piece, and yeah. But so I stuck with the 124 scale. Again, being a big train nut, I wanted stuff that would fit. I'd be able to build other pieces, and um, so the 124 scale worked really well. I was able to get the details I wanted, but still have a decent size. And then when it came time to start the next project, I did a vote if people wanted the Phantom Manor or the Disney World Mansion, and Disney World won. So when it came time to that, I'm like, I don't have room for another huge huge piece like that, and so the resin printers were just coming out, and I could finally afford one. And so I gave it a shot. This ever since then. Now I'm stuck with the smaller scale because I can do all my detail work that I want to do, but not have to start a dollhouse.
Right. Let's see. So you taught yourself the computer aided design programs.
Hmm?
Did you use like YouTube videos or just recommendations or trial and error or all of the above?
Yeah, all of the above. So like, I downloaded it and I just started playing with it. My first project, I was trying to finish the Disneyland castle. I'd built a little small model, but some of the pieces, I'm like, oh, it'd be really handy to 3D print this. And the thing that got me interested in the printers was I wanted to build a full size BB-8 from Star Wars. Like
Oh,
that was just
yeah.
like, yeah, that
That's
was
a
my
cute face.
dream. Yeah, and so I had built a an R2D2 at one point. Um, Most of it, I never quite finished it, and then ended up having to sell it when we moved. And um, so the BB-8, is smaller, and I'm like, oh, this would be great. And so I started printing out some of the parts, and he's still in the box. He's
Oh,
Yeah. So one of these days, BB-8 will have to be finished. But so then the mansion project started coming up, and I started building it, and I'm like, oh, I really wish I could 3D print this rather than trying to build it all by hand. And
mhm.
so I just experimented and took off from there. But
Did you buy your first print, your 3D printer, or did you go straight to the kit?
straight to the kit. Um,
Okay.
all about being able to afford it. um,
Okay.
the printers that I was looking at the time went from seven to you could go all the way up to several $1,000s. So
Oh
700,
yeah.
but the kit I got for like $120, and so I'm like, I can afford that, So I plenty of information online, and yeah, the kit was very handy, and so I just upgraded pieces as I went and built a build plate, and um, yeah, it's really fascinating. I'm blanking on the name of it. I will have to get it to you, but there's another community that's all about building the 3D printers and developing them. And Prusa, it's a PRUSA, however you're going to pronounce that. But yeah, they go through and they develop these kits, and then you can put them together however you want. So if you want multiple extruders, there's printers out there that for the filament printers where you can print multiple colors at once, which is just amazing.
On
There's
one item, multiple
Yeah,
colors on one item.
yeah, exactly. Like the extruder has got two different heads on it, and
Oh,
so like it'll stop printing in one color and do your layers that way. it's really amazing stuff. The resin printers, I think they're starting to experiment with different colors now. Haven't quite gotten there because it's hard because you've got just your pool of stuff. So I'm not sure how you would change that out, but they'll figure it out eventually, and then I'll have to buy something else.
So you're going to do the Parisian one next?
I believe so. Yeah. There's I don't know. There's such a cool look to it. And especially like I love lighting things, and the way they light it at night looks amazing. So that's gonna be the next project. It's gonna be a hybrid between scratch building stuff with wood and then doing the 3D printed parts for your details and stuff, and that way people can get a little bit of experience on both ends.
So are you going to put the back on this one that you've just finished, the Haunted Mansion?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. This one, the Disney World Mansion, it still needs a roof. So the roof's going to go up. There's really a small graveyard off to the side, which I believe is just going to fit on this layout. So I'm going to build the graveyard.
Oh,
Uh,
that's so cute.
yeah, it's going to be fun. Like I'm really excited about it. Now that we're finally getting settled and moving and stuff like that, I can kind of pick that project back up and hopefully get it wrapped up.
Cool. So tell us about your animation. You also do animation, you make short videos, cartoons?
Yeah, so I've got a small team, and we've opened Husker Studios, and we're really excited about it. We've got a couple animated shorts online that were kind of trials with the Braxton Beaver character, um, and we've
Where
got
did that come from?
so Braxton has got a very fun history, because we've been trying to do this animation stuff for years now. Like we've been, trying to approach it ourselves, and at one point we were going to try to hand draw everything, and then realize that's a massive task.
Yeah.
um, but Braxton started off as a squirrel, and he was actually going to be called Scaredy Squirrel because he was supposed to be afraid of everything, and that's kind of his thing. And then we found out there's already an animated character called Scaredy Squirrel. And, yeah, so there's everything out there now. And so
Yeah.
while we were at Disney in California, have a what's your spirit animal kind of thing. And so you go into this little room, and then it'll tell you what your spirit animal is. And mine came out a beaver. I'm like, that's it. We're gonna make him a beaver. So Braxton Beaver was born from that, and his best friend is a possum. And while we were walking in between hotels in California, this huge possum like crossed our sidewalk, like within feet from us, and startled us like the startled the heck out of us. But yeah, so then I'm like, that's going to be his best friend. Is going to be that possum right there. And so now, yeah, we've just got that team up, and they're going to be going. The series we're working on now, there's going to be a series of several episodes that all tie together. They're going to be visiting a rundown theme park. Braxton's favorite cartoon character is Roscoe the raccoon, and so it's going to be his theme park, and it's just going to be kind of a little more rundown than they expected. And so it's going to be a fun one. I'm pretty excited to get those out. We're looking to at least get the first episode out. I'd say late fall, early winter, and the series will progress from that point.
And you've already got a couple of shorts. We're going to play them after your interview.
Oh, great.
Thank you for letting us.
Oh, yeah.
And so, what was I going to say? You use computer animation for those as well, right?
Yeah. So I'm a huge fan of really old school stuff, like the Haunted Mansion being one, and but the old Disney techniques. And so I hand draw all my characters out. And then that way everything still looks hand drawn. And there's an app you can get free from Adobe called Adobe Capture. And so you can take a picture of that, and it'll make a digital file of your image of just the outlines. And so then you can color it in the computer, and then go from there. So I use a lot of there's Adobe puts out Character Animator is one of the programs I'll use. There's also Adobe Animate, which is the old it used to be Macromedia Flash back in the day, and I guess Flash is kind of gone away now. But yeah, so there's several different things that we use for depending on the shot we need for the episode. But yeah, everything's pretty much it's hand drawn and then transferred into a computer and then tweaked to animate.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
So, Do you want to tell us about any upcoming projects?
Right now, I've been going to school at Full Sail in Florida, and so that's eaten up a lot of my time.
What are
um,
you going to school for? What degree?
I am going to school for computer animation, actually. And
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
yeah, so like that way I can progress my Braxton and his friends, and then work on other projects for hopefully bigger companies. We're also learning special effects, which is another fun thing. We're doing a series of short films here. One we're
Oh
actually,
yeah.
yeah, we're going to be filming in September. One called Venture. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun though. There's a handful of people. Um, we're going to be filming, I believe, mid-September, and then hoping to release early spring of 2021. Um, but yeah, if it's a pilot episode and it's going to be submitted to different festivals and stuff like that, and then the series will continue from there. But I'm very much looking forward to it.
Is
um,
there a page we can follow the progress on that, or is it out at all, or is there any advertising or Facebooks or?
there is a Facebook page. I will get you the link as soon
Okay.
as I'm done with this. And then that way you guys can have it. And they've got like the casting updates and stuff like that. And I believe there's progress shots. We just did a photo shoot last night for the teaser poster, and it came out great. Some of the pictures they were showing I'm really impressed. The team that we've got working for us is so talented. Like I'm really excited for this
Is
project.
this live action?
It is live action.
And are you going to star or direct or write or?
I'm in it. I don't know that I can say that I'm starring in it.
Okay.
But I am definitely in it, and my character is right in the middle of all of the stuff going on. Um, I wish I could tell you guys more.
That's
It's
okay. We'll keep it onto the page and find out what's going on.
definitely.
So it's filming in Branson.
It is filming in a few different locations within the area. We were filming in Branson, Springfield, which is about 45 minutes north of us, and I believe they're shooting some shots in Highlandville. Um, Over the course of 3 days, like we're getting all of our principal photography done in 3 days, which is just that's an insanely quick schedule.
Yes.
So, but with the most of the cast, all of work on other projects professionally, and so we were able to get this one time slot to work for everybody, and it's going to be great.
Are you working on the costumes as well?
I am working on some of the prop pieces for them, and
3D
so
printed?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Some of the stuff that we could come up with, I now that I've got the two photon printers, like I'm like I've got an extra printer. It's like we can do some extra stuff and doing the how it takes place partially in the future, and that's it's probably as best much as I could say. So like there's a lot of pieces that don't exist, and so we're developing those. But yeah, the props for it are going to be a lot of fun.
That sounds amazing. I can't wait to see it. So where can we find you online? I've got you at Mini Haunted Mansion on Facebook, Husker
Yep.
Studios on Facebook,
Yep.
and both are on Instagram as well.
Correct.
Husker Studios also has a website. Is there anywhere else we should look out for you?
My personal page, I try to post stuff, when it's not, related to the main. It's just Brandt Tunes, on Instagram.
Brant Tunes.
Yeah, it's just Brandt BRANDT and then in TUNES. So
Because you also have a music career where you
right,
sing.
right, yeah. We had it for a while, and yeah, so I post some of my music stuff on there every once in a while, and Brandt Tunes and Brandt Tunes kind of tying together for cartoons and music, so it works.
Okay, yes, that does work.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's I post stuff on there. I try. Like I said, I'm very awful at remembering to post things because I get so tied up in what I'm working on. Like I just get really enthusiastic with it. but I do post quite a bit on the mansion page, and so I try to tie in other projects. Oh, um, another page that we've got going for non like Disney models that aren't related to the Haunted Mansion is Mini-Wed Imagineering, um, and I will get you the link to that as well.
Okay,
But
thank you.
it's Instagram, and I believe there is a Facebook page. But we've got like some of our train projects we do are going to be on there. Um, at one point, we were trying to build the Mark Twain riverboat that they have
Wow.
at Disneyland, and it's going to be remote control. It's going to have steam coming out. Like we're going all nines on it. It's going to be fun. But that's probably going to be a off season winter project. So be sure to watch for that as well. My
Definitely.
uh,
And model makers should definitely tune in for the mini haunted mansion. There's some great ideas and skill sets there that are going on. You're doing such a great job on those things, and congratulations. And thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We really appreciate it.
yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. We'll let you go now, and we'll play your
Okay.
videos next.
Okay, sounds perfect. Thank you. You guys have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. That was Michael Brandt from Mini Haunted Mansion. He did some 3D printing, and I hope you got some tips today on how to do that. Next up, we'll have his short from Husker Studios. Next up, we're going to have some artwork from Kelly Yates. No, I'm sorry. We're going to have a audio. Our next guest is Chip Setter, and he does 2-minute Time Lord. So we're going to play one or two of the 2-minute Time Lord audios for you, the podcast. So this is 2-minute Time Lord.
comprehensive. That sound you heard was the ears of a woolly type machine, right? And roaring delight. Telling us social media that we absolutely couldn't get to the depths of Dr. Who and the surprise to be fuller. I was terrified to he was only promising to be unfamiliar. Listener, I will go on. That sound you heard was fans shouting, "What?" As it turned out their ears weren't. That was Dr. Who's voice, and that was Captain Dan Marcus, who was a great right now, and this wasn't just a moment of nostalgia, but a delightful pride over working user and over an actor both being exactly what to do to this familiar character. Listener, I watched the episode once and so cool, and then got watching the second time, and my wife watched it the first time, and the expression for her that sound was glass breaking again. And not if you were thinking of the last scene commercial advertising for the Whitaker Series 11, but I was definitely surprised at Doctor Who's first non-white doctor, second white doctor, having the role of all of listeners, I suspect this is the doctor from the ultimate title, which may make the five spinals each retroactively more important. Let me give you guys some kind of recommendation for art there. Very good. Joe Martin as the doctor. Now, that sound you heard was a beautiful, as I realized just what a death each of us here owes all of us, both the novel and the series story. As we suddenly saw, this wasn't just a story about any substitute personality, but it was a calculated written with two young rainbows and a broken report using really art in exactly the same way. But this time, he was at the mark of Anfield, where they were devoted to sacrifice his life to the dog. And Ruth came to her now. Listen, give it up. This story has many influences that really is that bird was a big part of racing. It happened on the style and that and chased the frustrated with the cheap out by 13. The kaleidoscope of emotion showed you different things. All of the details, just like Spyfall Hardware, waiting to tell for real. But between the Patel and Christian, there's also more thought, adventure, and consequence. Crammed into this single episode that I've encountered in a long time. Probably going back to Stephen Hawking. Hours later, I'm still guilty. I may not sleep well. Listener,
Up next is Chip Sutter from 2 Minute Time Lord Podcasting. We will speak to him in just a few minutes.